Hey everybody, welcome to the Deep Dive Show. My name is Mpho. Our goal with this show is to bring you and I in proximity to the people and ideas that will show us that it is possible and it can be done, and eventually help us achieve on our dreams and on our goals. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a different setup. We have a different entrepreneur, very unorthodox. He will introduce himself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, my brother Gelson Oliveira.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'm very excited to have this episode with you because you and I have similarities in just the way we just flow. Because I basically meeting you, we talked about like 5 different things in like 1 minute.
Yeah.
All right. So just to get things rolling, walk us through who you are,
Who I am?
and your journey, and where you started from.
Okay. So, as I told you, like, business for me has been a thing, like, since early age. Like, my family is business oriented. I remember, like, my first taste for entrepreneurship was, like, I was about 9 to 10 years old. And I was at the shop with my father. And we used to sell, like, Coca-Cola, but, like, in boxes, you know?
Yeah.
Like those old school boxes.
Yeah.
So I'm in the shop, we're just selling normally, but then my dad gets like an emergency call and he has to leave. I'm like 10 years old. But then I was always like a very responsible kid, you know? So he was like, look, don't do anything, just sit here, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
And then he left. I was like, no, it's okay, I'm not gonna do anything, I'm gonna chill. So I was there in the shop, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna call my friends. I call all my friends. So it's like, it was a funny take.
Yeah.
It was like 10 to 15 people in a little shop.
Yeah.
And then I set them all down. All of them.
All your 10-year-old friends.
No, they're much older.
Really?
They were like 14, 15. Yeah, all of them. And I told them, look, if you guys walk down the street and tell people that we're selling these cradles, I'm gonna pay you.
Yeah.
And they went. And like they started bringing so much business. We almost sold out, and it was all cash. So like my little self seeing like a pile of money, I was like,
Yeah.
like it was. I was never like, it was the most exciting time for me.
Yeah.
Right. So that moment, I realized that look, if you have a product, and don't be shy to sell it. Right? If you have a product, be able to say like, look, I have this product, and get to a point where you accept the customer feedback. If you're selling your price, like if your price is 15 and someone comes to you at like 9, don't waste your time. He's not your customer. It's okay. Let's move on with life. Right? So it's like that happened. And then fast forward, like I'm getting into college. Like a lot of things happen in my life. I get into college. Second week, I co-found a company, a high net worth marketing company with a friend.
Yeah.
We opened that. We got quite big in terms of portfolio, in terms of potential. But then it was a very natural thing because I had that in me. Like I had man, if I have a product that I should just sell. The same way I came to you.
Yeah.
Like we should be able to, to talk and everything. So we ran that company for like about 3 years. And then we had like a lot of internal issues, not with the co-founder, but like with our overall supply chain. And then the company went bust. And it was a crazy thing because we were dealing,
when you say big company, how big was it? Like,
yeah, the potential
how would you want
was,
to, in metrics, like in numbers and all?
You want me to put numbers?
Yes.
I would put, at a point, our portfolio had a potential market size of about 200 million pula. Guaranteed. And like for college kids, that's great. Like
for anyone.
So it's like, look, this was our company.
Yeah.
I'm Angolan.
Yeah.
And my family does business.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people in Angola, like a lot of finance people. Now, the guy I was talking to is a Motswana, and his dad is also well connected. So we were sitting once and we were like, yo, how about we just connect these people to do business together, and all we do is get commission for that? And it was like, yeah, good idea. So that's what we did. We would just we had an investor, he actually came here, met the guys, and we were gonna open up a food manufacturing plant in Angola. That was like the dates, the signatures, everything was in. And then one of our partners had a fight with the investor. And then it just crumbled down. Like the portfolio, everything went to zero. So after that, I was doing finance and banking. So I was like, I don't really enjoy this. Like, it's not me. I had like a job offer. I was gonna go home and just work in a bank. But I was like, this is not for me. So business goes bust 2 weeks after I graduate. Literally, business goes from, we were looking for cars to buy. Like, we thought we were gonna be big boys.
Yeah.
From that to nothing, absolutely nothing. So graduation, and I was like, look, I'm not gonna go home. I'm gonna try the business thing. I go to UB, they have a master's in executive entrepreneurship. It was either that, or MBA. I was like, no, I want to be specific.
But how didn't it get to you though? Like, from such a big business, and then 2 weeks later, like how do you master that internal fortitude to be able to move through like a situation that would have broken pretty much anyone?
Most people?
Yeah.
I feel like, I think you need to allow the world to break you, but don't get lost in it. Because I went through all the motions. I was sad. I didn't have any confidence. I didn't want to, at a point, I didn't want anything to do with business. But then I allowed those emotions to take place. I didn't fight them. I'm not a big believer in trying to optimize for only one emotion. Like, most people are like, no, just be happy. I don't believe in that. I think if we can register all human emotions, we should feel them all, good or bad, right? And good or bad is also subjective. So we failed at tears, fights, all of that, but we went through it. There was no suppressing. I believe if you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like shouting, shout. But then there's gonna come a time where those triggers won't affect you as much. And that's the only way we dealt with that situation.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, from big to nothing. Felt sad. From going to seeing to having dinners, because high net worth marketing, when you're marketing for the rich, the lifestyle is quite lavish. A lot of dinners, a lot of appointments here and there. You go from that to no one calling you on a Friday. And you're like, whoa, what am I going to do with myself?
Yeah.
But then you go through the motion. While I was at home, I would try to read a book, not working. If I needed to talk to people, I would talk to people. Family is huge. It's huge. Because it's it wasn't just me going through it. It was my family as well. Because it's I think that's what a lot of entrepreneurs forget, is they see business and they just try to be the ones who make everything happen. But that's not how the world works. You need a lot of support. You need a lot of partnerships. So for me, it was that. At the time, my parents actually hosted the investors. Because it's they left Angola, went to South Africa, then they came here. So my parents are the ones who hosted those investors, So when it went bust, it affected us all. Because we all thought and they were looking yo, man, you were onto something.
Yeah.
The proud moment and all of that.
Yeah, I wanted us to hold that thought. We're gonna pause here for a break. We'll be back with Mr. Gelson. You're watching this video. I'm guessing there's some amount of value that you're getting from this video. I'm here to tell you that we have more. We've created a Patreon account. This is a monthly subscription-based model where you'll be investing as little as $5 a month to be able to support our work. And in turn, you will have access to behind the scenes, exclusive content, live shows, and even information on future events. Your investment into us allows us to be able to create more and better content, to be able to push these stories off. It is possible and it can be done. So if that sounds interesting to you, head over to patreon.com/deep dive sessions and become a patron. See you on the inside. Welcome back, everybody. We're here at the Deep Dive Show. We're here with Gelson Oliveira.
Yes.
So you're from Angola. You built a huge business that went bust.
Potential business.
A huge potential business that went bust.
That's why, for all entrepreneurs out there, don't trust pre-orders. You need to have
things written down.
Contracts, solid contracts. Then you know. And if you can structure your contract in a way that the person gives you deposits pre-hand so that it covers a lot of your costs, better. Now talk to me about what you're doing now. Talk to me about your current today. Yes. We spoke about the past. Now the future, right? What I'm working on is, I noticed that in Southern Africa, weirdly, all my business ideas are Southern Africa based. I like solving problems in Southern Africa. That's my frame of mind whenever I create. I think we have the resources, the transportation resources in Southern Africa to cater for the demand, the actual demand. But my thought is that we have a gap in distribution of resources.
Yeah.
So you find a family that has so many cars and so many access to transportation resources, and you find other groups who are completely disenfranchised. So my idea was, look, why not, sharing economies are booming. Airbnb, Uber, so forth, they're all booming. And basically, these are just marketplaces that bring people to share resources.
They don't know anything. They don't own anything.
They don't.
Yeah.
Right? They're very asset light. They don't and also liability light, right? There's a consequence.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, why not create a marketplace for transportation services? The idea is very simple. When we launch, we already have the app and so forth. We're going to be providing 4 services. The first one is what we're calling the tag-along experience. That is, we all like to travel, especially young people, in university campuses. But we lack the resources to travel. We lack is either we only have the fuel money, but we don't have accommodation and all other logistics sorted out. So I was like, let's create a system that allows people to share costs. So we basically, with the tag-along experience, we team people together to travel in a shared cost system. So if you want to go to Maun, you can post. I'm going to start a tag-along, when we launch.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Maun, and I'm going to post, look, I want to go to Maun on this date, but all I have is a car. I need 3 other people to contribute around the trip. So you can come in with fuel if you want.
Yeah.
Someone else can come in with the food and all of that. And also, the requirements for travel is dependent on me as the host. It's it depends on the resources I find valuable. If to me, a vibe and company is what I'm looking for, then I can just state, look, guys, I'm all sorted to go to my own. I have accommodation. I have everything. All I don't have is the company and the vibe.
So what about Africa's infrastructure? Are we ready for an app and these things? How is it going to easily translate into the everyday Motswana or the everyday Southern African to be able to use this in a way that will be, how is it going to easily translate into that?
So our strategy is to build for trust. Because even if you check, Botswana, there's Airbnb. You can open your phone, there's someone willing to list their house. And your house, you go to any African homes, that's their biggest asset. And they're willing to give it out for a few days. That shows that the market is ready. That's actually why I looked into it. I was like, no, the market is actually ready. Now, when we launch, we are going to be proven. Because it's if you're an entrepreneur, don't beat around your idea. I'm not successful yet, right?
Yeah.
But this is a hunch I truly believe. If you feel like you're solving a problem, try it. And then the market will prove if you are right or wrong.
So we have InDrive, we have a few others.
We have a few. So the market is right.
How are you working around those?
It's like, so I was telling you about like the services we'll be providing. That's the first one. That's our first solution to like improving the resource management around our transportation system. It's like we're promoting shared travel. But also in that shared travel, we are promoting shared vibes. So it's like, if I want to go to like right now to a restaurant right now and I don't have friends, I can start a vibe. I can be like, look, I want to start a vibe. I want to go to Rhapsodies. I need 3 other people to join me. And it works in the same nature. They either contribute or they come with friends. It depends on whatever you find valuable, right? That's our first solution. Our second aspect is we're trying to increase the shared system around transport property. So we are allowing people to rent out any transportation property at a short period of time. Yes, you have been a student.
Car rental.
Car rent, it could be car, bike, tractor, whatever, as long as it has wheels and moves. Like you as a student, if you're in class and you have a bike, I'm sure there's some dude who needs to go back and forth from like the campuses because the campuses are big.
Yeah.
And it's like walking back and forth is inefficient. But then if you're in class, you can rent out your bike to a fellow student who is going to run that errand. It's like, look at the engineering students in UB. Just think about it. Sometimes they have to go to like the hospital area and then get back to Carryport and go back. Like that process could be facilitated with a bike, a skateboard, a car, like whatever. And think about the farmer. We are a big farming community in Botswana. A farm, like not everyone has tractors, right? So if a farmer has a tractor and he has done his work for the day and needs fuel for tomorrow, he can just rent it out. Rent out your tractor to another farm, get the money for fuel and for your boys, and be sorted that way. Like it becomes a self-sustaining system. Because we do, like today I was walking around the BNSC. There's a tractor there that has never moved. It's just there.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sure there's a kid somewhere who's like, man, I don't have potatoes. Like I don't have food. But like, if that service was available to him, he could rent it out. Beautiful. You don't need to go buy the tractor, right?
Yeah.
That's the second service. We're providing short-term rentals for any transportation property, any, right?
Before we go to the third, I want to pause us here.
Okay.
And we'll be back with Mr. Gelson Oliveira.
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Mr. Gelson Oliveira. Hope I'm pronouncing it well.
Say it again?
Oliveira.
Oliveira. Exactly.
All right, man.
Yeah.
You're launching an app.
Yes.
Soon.
Yes.
Soon. Talk to me about that, when it's launching and how you're gonna go about it.
We aim to launch like mid-month, this month, and we're gonna launch primarily for like Android phones.
Yeah.
And then eventually iOS. So basically when we launch the platform, it's gonna be an MVP. We still feel like we're at a point where we need to get the feel of the market. A lot of it is still hypothesis and whatever.
For sure.
So in that time, we're not trying to invest too much. And we're also not trying to get like a lot of commitment from outside either. So we have a team, it's I and a very good programmer. And if we welcome someone else, it's going to be someone with partnerships. If you have the doors to open, we don't need any money.
Yeah.
None at all. If you have the doors to open for us to like go and speak and have these interactions, then for sure we will welcome you to the team.
Now talk to me about somebody you'd like to work with, say a partner or even an employee. How do you go about bringing them in?
I'm a very, how do I call, the proof is in the pudding type of person. You know, remember my story from like the top to the bottom. Now, let's see the little details one step at a time. So it's like if you feel like the idea works for you, is a thing of like you identifying the point in which you can generate value for us, and then we will work step by step. Of course, we are open to that as well, you know. But as I said, right now, maybe a designer would be good. Someone who has like that skill would be good.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're also well connected or they're very good at like just talking to people, that would be a plus as well.
Talk to me about that. You've mentioned well connected many times. It seems like it's something that you really value in terms of somebody you work with. Yeah. Talk to me about that. Especially, how do you even get well connected as a human being?
As a human being?
How do you make sure that you make the right connections with people?
Okay. First of all, wear pink blazers. I think connection it's really just.
I think
like,
they didn't hear the joke. It just passed.
Right?
It just passed like. Yeah. All right, man. Yeah, go on.
I think a big part of connection is you being able to generate value. That's very important. I feel like a lot of people go by trying to connect with people through like a pleasing system, through like, oh, I'm gonna be nice and whatever. That doesn't work. The world works by, everyone here has needs. And if you come in and you're like, look, I can fulfill that need, then there's a possibility to establish a connection. So, I don't know, if you're like an entrepreneur, a person starting out and you feel like you're just alone, first of all, identify a problem you're willing to solve. Like a project, whatever. It may not even be something that you're truly passionate about, but as long as it moves you, right? Just say, look, this is my thing. Identify your thing. If you're a professional guy, a designer, then you have that. Start from that basis. And leave your house. The problem, like with a lot of people, they read a lot of books, they just stay home. That doesn't work. You're gonna have a sound mind, true, but you won't have a voice. And like, if you look at the state of the world, the people on top are not the most qualified people.
Yeah.
They're simply the people that have a voice.
Yeah.
So if you're an entrepreneur, a designer, a rapper, whatever it is that you do, you need to have that, be good at that, but also put yourself out there. Just like, if you walk by this mall, see an accelerator, come by and say, hey, like, hey man, I'm a designer. There are a lot of entrepreneurial people here. Is there someone I can provide my service, or is there someone I can show my portfolio? Just doing that takes you a long way. Because if we are all in need of designers, like the people who come here, we all need designers. We all need an artistic eye. We all need that. So that's what I would say. Find your aspect to generate value. That is, find a quality that is valuable for society. If you're a programmer, entrepreneur, whatever skill you have, harness that as an identity. And the second step is make moves, man. Go out. Go to a restaurant and don't be shy to talk to people.
For sure.
And in that way.
For sure. Now you do Executive MBA, which is levels up from just the traditional MBA. Talk to me about that and that experience and that knowledge you're getting from there and how you're applying into what you're doing today. Because I studied entrepreneurship, and if I'm, being honest, there's many times I wanted to quit because I felt like it wasn't really translating into what I'm doing in real life. There's a bit of too much theory. And, there's a lot that I learned from there now. Now in hindsight, now when I look back, there's a lot that I learned from there. And also there's some that, I don't know. But talk to me about Executive MBA and how it's tying into what you're doing today. Yeah.
Okay. Spoiler alert. You're not going to run away from theory.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. Whatever you do is going to have an element of theory, and it's going to be boring. Just as much as it is for me. But life is not just good. Life is also about grinding it out and really going through. So with what I'm doing, we have our theory. We've done it. We read books. We made a lot of references, written a lot of documents. But for me, I didn't allow myself to get lost in that. So I didn't either see it as the way, because I don't believe theory is the way, but I also didn't see it as the enemy. I simply saw it as a step I need to get over, right? That was my whole thing. If I have to read this thing, I just have to read it, get whatever I can get from it, and somehow our world still respects theory. So it's like the fact that I went through the curriculum, people look at me like, oh, you did your master's at a young age too. And I'm like, if I'm real with you, the things I learned from school that were like super valuable were very detached from the theory. They were mostly like, we did a course in school called ideation, or basically introduction to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And they try to talk to you about how the entrepreneurial process works and so forth. And end of each class, we would have these sessions where we'd think about a problem and immediately think about the solution. That was literally it, right? We do a bunch of theory and then have a session to think about a problem and a solution. And that really helps, because if you think about it, that's what entrepreneurship is, right? There's an element to just like, oh, there's a problem and I think I have a solution for it, and you go for it, right? So those were the aspects that I feel truly molded me. It's like we went through so many those were the practical aspects that I felt influenced me in a positive way. Now, curriculum-wise, we learned about entrepreneurship, ideation process. We learned about managing growth. We learned about how do you go to investors in a course called Financing the Enterprise in Venture. We learned about marketing strategies, what it truly is. We learned about, supply chain. That's huge for all entrepreneurs. Like, that was huge. Understanding your supply chain will help you in a number of ways. Like, it basically affects your inventory. It affects how quick you can interact with your customers. That's like customer reputation and relationship. It affects your brand. It affects your cost structure. It affects so many things. So now, if I would speak to like an entrepreneur that doesn't have access to the course, I'll just tell you, go YouTube it. What is supply chain management, and being on top of your supply chain? And also understanding that there's an element to luck, to life, to it all. Like, I like something you told me earlier on about Steve Jobs, that you don't connect your dots looking forward. You connect them looking backwards. This feels very natural now.
For sure.
But we would have, no way we planned this. It just happened. It was like life, it was like what they call serendipity or whatever. Like, life just molded us into it. And that's what I think entrepreneurship is.
Well put. I want us to jump into a different segment. It's called Rapid Fire. I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions.
And then
that don't necessarily have to do with business.
Okay.
Yeah, just to see your take on that and get a feel from it. Okay. And I've written them down.
Cool.
So, because all of these other ones are just coming from me. All right.
By the way, I'm not just an entrepreneur. I'm also a mixed martial artist and a musician.
Yeah.
I think you need to be. Like, entrepreneurs are like the wild ones, right?
Yeah, for sure. All right. So question number 1.
Okay.
If you had to change your first name to anything else, what would it be?
Blue Space.
Okay.
You wanna know
There's a story there. There's a story there.
I just think, like, it's like the sky. It's it's there, but you can easily forget it's there. So it's like having an identity that is so grand and also unattached is something that I always think about.
Is that your stage name?
Blue's face?
Yeah.
It could be.
Okay. All right. What has been your favorite age so far? Your favorite age. What has been your favorite age so far?
Favorite age?
In life, from 0 to now. What has been your favorite age?
Where I am right now.
Where you are right now?
Yeah.
How old are you?
24.
24. Beautiful. Next question. What story do you tell more often?
What story do I tell more often? That I'm a quiet guy. It's
No,
a
like
story.
a story though, just about your life or anything else. That the one you really always tell more
like
often.
a
real
story.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. How I started like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think people ask me that a lot. How I started?
Yeah.
I think I was in a bad space emotionally, and I was like tired of being home. I was home a lot. So I just decided to go work out. I went to the gym, and I'm working out. And then I see a group of people training in a very organized way, and they were training hard. I was like, oh, who are those guys?
Yeah.
I went to them and asked them like, yo, hey, can I join you for whatever it is you're doing? And they told me, yeah, we're doing judo, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Judo? When do I come for classes? And they were like, come 5 a.m. today.
Yeah.
They thought I wouldn't come. I went there 5 a.m. As I was training, I found a light-skinned guy, very strong. I asked him, yo, man, why do you do to become this good? And he told me, no. He's very strong, but very elegant. It's not rough. And I was like, how can you be strong and so gentle?
Smooth, yeah.
And he told me, like, I do this thing called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Come for classes at 7 tomorrow. And then I came.
That.
And living that way has really shaped my life. I just roll with
throwing
the
yourself.
punches. Yeah. Just roll with the punches. And I ended up becoming I'm actually a teacher of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu today.
Nice. Did you fight the big guy?
That guy?
Ever? Like, did you ever get in here?
Oh yeah. He that wasn't a good one. No. He's my master.
All
He's
right.
definitely my teacher.
All right.
Yeah.
The other question is, you're gonna finish this phrase. The way to my heart is.
The way to my heart is good communication.
Good communication.
Yes. That's definitely the way to my heart.
You like that? Okay.
If you talk to me.
What is good communication? Like, just demystify it.
I think good communication for me is communicating without an ends meet. So when a lot of people speak,
I feel you.
they come with a preconceived notion of what the truth is.
Yeah.
And it's deeply embedded in their minds. They come to you, they're talking, but they're very guarded about what they think is right already.
Yeah.
I think true communication is having an openness to challenge what you thought before, right? So if I come to you and say, the sky is this color, when I have the flexibility to rethink that thought, I think I'm practicing good communication.
Beautiful.
Right? One aspect. And also listening.
Listening.
Yeah. So those two, I think, is what makes good communication. Just speaking without like such a strong attachment to what's right, and also listening.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. The last question we have there is, how much would you want to get paid if you were to walk backwards for a week?
If I were to walk backwards for a week.
How much would you accept to be paid for you to walk backwards for a week?
Walk backwards?
Yeah.
For a whole
Not forward. Every time we're walking forward, how much would you accept to get paid to walk backwards for a week?
$200?
200 bucks? This is a week, man.
I'm joking. For a week.
Like entire week, like you're gonna go to the bed, wake up in the morning, make coffee, have breakfast, go to work, walking backwards.
218
like the whole week,
tebe.
7 days.
218,000 pula, 0.80 tebe. Like that. If you give me that, 218,000, 0.80 tebe, I'll do it.
That's so specific, though.
I like to be specific.
All right, man. All right. So, before I ask my last question, where do you see Sykel going?
Sykel?
In the next, say things pan out the way you want them to be. Where do you see Sykel happen? Where do you see Sykel in the next 3, 4, 5 years?
3, 4, 5 years? Things go well. We will be able to have 500,000 people using our platform. That would be fantastic. 500,000 using our platform. And generally, like, I think that's why I also don't like, I like what she spoke about, coercion. I don't like that when I'm providing a service.
Yeah.
Because my alter ego is attached to being an inventor. That's like my goal is to, if you look at me, you just look at an inventor. And to me, it's about solving real problems in the society you find yourself in. So if we have a really good product that people can take out their phones and use and like see real value in it, that's the goal.
Beautiful. That's
really the goal. Like 500,000 people, really good product, and keep grinding, man.
Beautiful.
I think that's it.
How do you, my last question is, how do you want to be remembered as Gelson?
What do I want to be remembered for?
How do you want to be remembered as Gelson?
How? I want to be remembered as a person that tried, but genuinely tried, right? Like, I think we all have problems in life. We all have attributes. We all have a number of things. But what I think a lot of us genuinely lack is trying. Like, purely just like, not like, I don't want to, this is a better way. A person who tried without trying to please anyone. Like a person who truly tried to live this life for himself. That's how, if I'm remembered as that, and if I see myself as that when I'm like 70 years old, I'll be very proud.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That would be
beautiful.
That would be great.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Gelson Oliveira.
Exactly.
Who of Sykel. You just talked about his company. You've just experienced him this night. Now make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like and comment below, and give us your biggest takeaway as to what you have learned from this episode. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we'll meet same time, same place next week.
And let's start the hashtag. Hashtag Sykel.
Hashtag Sykel. Comment below. Hashtag Sykel. And we want to see all of you who have watched the video up to the end. Very good, Mr. Oliveira.
All right.
We want to see all of you who have watched the video up to the end. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll meet same time, same place next week. Be great.